All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z, and he is at Buffalo Wild Wings in Avon Lake, 32914 Walker Road. He is a celebrity among celebrities, and now he is amongst the public. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing from the cozy comforts of the Grand Bishop Estate?
This is one of the few. This was it was a touch too far.
No, yes, it is.
Normally,
we're out here. We're representing an Avon Lake, getting it done. Browns fans obviously excited. The city abuzz. So it's been it's great being out here. Dave Zastudil will be on site at 2 p.m. Right. We've already met somebody who sacked Dave Zastudil in high school. So I mean, we got all the luminaries are here today.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That's the claim to fame that they sacked Dave.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's right.
That's very, very good. Yeah, so it's fun. So get out there. Dave will be out there. Z is out there. He will sign autographs, body parts, whatever you want. Z's up for it over the next couple of hours here to get you set. We are still in the afterglow of what happened Sunday, and we will have your four things that need a little bit more further review coming up in this program. We'll do one thought on every game around the league this weekend. We will do that as well as the program goes along, and of course, a little bit of higher or lower coming up as well. What did you make of how much of the Monday Night Football did you get into? I was at hoops practice for the beginning, and then I jumped in after into the second quarters when I paratrooped in.
So I did not watch the second half, but I've seen all of the relevant highlights to the second half. But I watched the first half with Mahomes, loved it, and you could tell Peyton has a great deal of respect for him. And I think when he has a great deal of respect for somebody, it really shines through and makes their dialogue so much more interesting. They didn't have to go through a lot of canned whatever segments. They were able to go. Right now, I wish you were here right now. Gibbe struggling to get the audio to work here in the B-dubs is hysterical. I'm really enjoying it. So every other word has been going out over the speakers. And Gibbe's bent over, doubled over,
we're just a well-oiled
finicking with this.
Today.
Yeah, are you even on?
I am.
Okay, all right, there he is. Good.
I do know how to work the microphone. I don't know how to work the speaker currently, but
it's funny. I hear an echo. It seems like it's working.
No, I think now he's got it. I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're good. Where's Uno when you need him? That's what everybody wants to know.
He's sending everything to the stream today.
So I did watch.
So the YouTubers can hear it.
So I watched it, and then I watched all the highlights. There's Uno. What's up, Uno, on the Zoom? Zoom Uno. Bad loss for the Buffalo Bills. From a Browns standpoint, it's good that a team that you thought was going to be in the playoff picture takes a loss. But on the other hand, you had a chance for the Denver Broncos to fall to 3-6.
Yeah,
and get to the point where they could be, we're mail it in candidate for the time that we head to Denver in 2 weeks, which, we talked about. Joe Thomas yesterday said that makes a big difference for teams when you get to around the 9-10 game mark of the season. And it would have been great to be able to have audio's out again. Gibbe, back to work. Come on. The people of B-dubs demand it. They want to hear you. So, but what a wild loss. And then a 12 men on the field ends up being the difference at the very end of this game. That's a tough scenario. Gibbe.
I think it was Hamlin.
People are the wings, they're mid-wing bite, and then the sound comes and it scares them, and then all of a sudden they're back to eating their wings. No sound. It's a tough scene here. Tough scene.
Very
but we're having a good time. People are smiling. That's good.
That's a win. Hey,
that's a win.
I think what it articulates is that when you're lucky enough to land one of these franchise quarterbacks, you have usually 1, 2, and sometimes 3 windows to try to win a Super Bowl with that franchise quarterback. And so the teams have almost 3 different looks to them. So, for example, like Kansas City's on their second incarnation of the Mahomes window. They're in it now.
I don't know that it ever – I think it's been one long, continuous window. I don't know if they ever had a down period.
No, they didn't, because he's sensational. So they were able to go from like the first Super Bowl champion Mahomes Chiefs with Tyreek Hill and Honey Badger and those guys. And now this is a second one. And then Travis Kelce will retire, and eventually this will be another version of the Mahomes championship window. So this will be, and Joe Burrow famously said, the championship window is my entire career. And he's right. Like, if you have one of those guys, you can have a couple of championship windows if you're lucky enough. And I think what this feels like to me is that the Bills championship window, the Stephon Diggs, Von Miller, Josh Allen Bills window, that window is done. It didn't work. They fired their offensive coordinator this morning. Former Brown quarterback Kenny Dorsey was fired this morning.
I don't know that was
Joe
very
Brady.
fair.
is going to be the on-to-play calling duties, the former quarterback coach. That's the guy who was with LSU and then was the
and then Carolina. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
and was like tossed out of Carolina.
Yeah,
quickly.
Yeah, so I guess the point is it's really hard to, even when you think you do everything right, and Buffalo certainly felt like they were doing everything right. Very stable management, great coaching, franchise quarterback, all of it. It's still really hard to land the plane all the way. And perhaps for this incarnation of the Bills under Allen, the high watermark will be that thrilling, ridiculous game in Kansas City that they lost in an AFC Championship game.
It feels that unfortunately could be the case, and like Josh Allen, the first interception was a perfect pass to Gabe Davis in the red zone. I mean, perfect, and that turns into an interception because he drops it. The fumbles, the second interception was on him, but that was a bad one. But yeah, they're a team that has not been, the whole has not been the sum of the parts, and now you got Stephon Diggs' brother saying get him out of here.
That's bad.
That's never good. We know about family members and wide receivers, and not a lot of happy endings from those stories. It's a surprise, and I think the only thing that actually has come true so far this season is that the AFC North is the best division in football in terms of preseason thoughts, because you have to remember in the AFC East, we all thought Miami had a chance to make playoffs, and right now they're the class of that division. 4 plays into the season, Aaron Rodgers pops his Achilles, and that team is completely derailed. Yes. And then you've got the Bills who are, underachieving and now making changes here in the middle of the season, which is wild to see. They were, I think, number 3 in offensive DVOA. They were just undone by untimely turnovers, and in many cases, some of them which were not even the quarterback's fault, but great quarterbacks. I read this today. Great quarterbacks are supposed to. By the way, Aaron Rodgers is on McAfee right now and wearing a patch over his eye, making fun of A.J. Hawk for the patch that he was wearing over his eye yesterday. I don't know what A.J. Hawk had done, but obviously some type of eye procedure.
A little LASIK.
And they are finding this to be very funny. But I read that, great quarterbacks are supposed to get offensive coordinators, head coaching jobs, not fired in the middle of the season. And I think some of the criticism against Josh Allen is unfair, and then some of it is fair because he's had games this year where he's absolutely, like the week 1 against the Jets, where he absolutely threw the ball away and threw about 4 interceptions in that one to the Jets, and they lose a game they had no business losing, especially with Rodgers going out so early. But he's got 94 career turnovers since entering the league in 2018. That is the most in the NFL, and that's, we're lucky this year. We've kind of survived being a kind of a turnover-prone football team, and if we can never clean that up, I mean, the sky is the limit for this Cleveland Browns team.
Yeah, eventually that does revert to the mean, though. Like, you can be an outlier for so long. It's kind of like Pittsburgh. They're outgained every week. Like, you can get away with that until you can't.
Let's have a little regression of the mean there, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Like so that's kind of the that's kind of the thing that you're at there. Yeah, it's interesting, that Buffalo thing. And the other thing is, and you and I have talked about this for the last couple of weeks. On the other side, Russell Wilson's playing pretty damn efficient for Denver under Sean Payton, for a guy that we thought was broken at the beginning of the year. A lot of people did. I know that you had him. Didn't you have him in the playoffs? I think you had Denver in the playoffs this year. You had him bouncing back.
I think I do. And remember when AP, who by the way we saw him in Baltimore this weekend. It was great to see the great Poisal. He's got flowing locks now. He's got hair down to like the middle of his back.
Oh wow!
Just like looks like a surfer.
Middle of his
time
back.
Of his life. Not really that long. That's an exaggeration. But he does have flowing locks. It was great seeing him, but he was the one. Remember, that's when I got in a big fight with him, in Better or Worse, about Russell Wilson. I was like, we're just acting like this guy is
done,
erroneous.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been very good. Sean Payton's been very good for him. At the beginning of the year, it did kind of look like Payton was trying to break him. Like some of the stuff that they were asking to do, the start was so bad, and now they find themselves, what are they, 4-5, and are they 4-6?
They're 4-5 right now. You hope as a Browns fan, you hope they end up 4-6 after this weekend. They're 4-5, but yeah, they've gotten back to kind of running it, and Russ has been very efficient, 24 of 29 for 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Then their defense, a defense that gave up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins and quite frankly should have gone up 73 to set a new NFL record, they, in the last 2 weeks, have 4 interceptions and have allowed only 1 touchdown to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen combined. So this D is all of a sudden playing very good football.
Yeah, for sure it has, and isn't it interesting it occurred to me as now the kind of like the connections of all of this. Wilson on the season, He's now at a point where he's 68% pass completions, 1,800 yards. He's 18 touchdowns, 4 picks on the year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a rating of 104. I mean, that's a remarkable thing. As you did the Denver thing, this tells you, like, you know how sometimes they say, you'll see like #ThisLeague. Denver gave up 70 to Miami. Buffalo whipped Miami and it's probably their signature win on the season. Didn't they score 50 on Miami? Something like that. And then Denver then beat Buffalo. Make sense of it.
If A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. It's the transitive property.
It's crazy. None of it makes any sense.
No. That's what's so great about the NFL this year. And that's why every game is so important, especially with how competitive it is, how many teams are kind of bunched up in the AFC, that every game takes on such a massive importance, especially when it's an AFC game, and then even doubly so when it's a division game. And for the Browns, you got it done in a game that was a division game last week, and now you need to do that once again this week against Pittsburgh Steelers. But we're still in the afterglow. We're still going to talk about this glorious win over the Baltimore Ravens, and we got more winning going on. And I haven't had a chance to scroll through the whole rundown here. Do we discuss the Chief? There we go. All right, so coming up.
Yeah, it's coming
Chief
up. We'll get that in there.
Oh, yeah, okay. There he is. There it is. Turn that mic on, Gibbe. There you go.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there it is.
One other thing I wanted to so I miss Mahomes on Manning.
Yeah.
I missed him. And
he was great.
Yeah, I'm sure that he was. That is now what that show is at its best. I do think it's losing steam. I think that they're losing a little steam with it, and I think the problem with it is they were too reliant. The production of it was too reliant on A-list guests, and they didn't build what it really was. Probably what Peyton wanted it to be in the beginning, which was him and his brother watching ball and you listening in as they did. And
totally.
It became
and when you
way too canned on trying to get internet moments, way too worried about trying to get funny bits, and less worried about what I think he wanted it to be in the beginning. And so they didn't have a guest in the second quarter while I was watching. And it was probably the most enjoyable thing for me because they were just talking ball, which that's what it should be to begin with.
Yes. Mahomes, and with Mahomes they just talked ball. So you had Mahomes and then you had the pure quarter, and it was perfect. They don't need much. They don't need much. Like, I enjoyed the fact that, Sean O'Hara was just there to dummy snap the ball to Eli a few times and have their kids rush the quarterback. Like, that stuff is fun. That's good. Yeah, you just want to be a fly on the wall to hear two guys talking who have a tremendous knowledge for the football game talking. And it's gotten away from what I loved about it is I thought every time I watched the game I was learning so much about football and the thought process that goes into certain things, and then you end up in these like bad comedy bits. Like, no, the first half was perfect. Yep. And I haven't heard much about the second half in terms of how it went down, other than that obviously it was pretty funny to see Kyle Brandt be on there as a Bills fan for the way that game ended. But yeah, I'm with you. It has lots of little juice. I prefer it when either it's a guest that is a football player. Like I thought you go back to last year when Russell Wilson did a whole fourth quarter in overtime with them.
That was awesome.
Think that he's a strange bird, but it was really cool the way they were all talking through everything that was going on in the game. That, to me, is what's interesting, and that's what I can't get anywhere else. I can get bad celebrity interviews anywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is literally that anywhere. And, in fact, probably better celebrity interviews in a lot of places, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you. That's what that show should be, and that's when it's at its best. And I thought that you got a taste of that yesterday, and it probably was very different in the second half.
Yeah, I watched the second quarter, and then I paratrooped in the fourth when Buffalo had the ball. It was a tie game. Buffalo had the ball, and I thought, well, they'll just go down and win. They'll win by 7, and the scores will be safe. Unfortunately, they were not.
No, sad. I know, and I had some hesitation on it, but it's unfortunate. Yeah, sad.
I shouldn't have gone first because this is the one team I've had a blind spot for all year.
They're your Chargers.
They are. I just can't get them right. I think sometimes I see a big line on them, and I'm like, it's way too high, and then they annihilate.
Yeah.
I just can't. And their number is always big. It's always 7, 8.5. Like, it's this huge number week to week. It's rarely 3. It's usually like 7 or 8.5. Big numbers. And I got to learn from that. Like, I just would stay away from them. That would be my advice to myself.
Leave them alone. Just leave alone.
You guys hang out on your own.
People are safe. People had a wonderful week.
Oh yeah, everybody won very, very big, but that would have been nice to get the capper. Because that would have got you 13-1, right?
That would have got me 13-1, yeah, which would have been a new gold standard. But listen,
we had 12-2 and 11-3.
Yeah,
yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I had a guy
in week 10. Like that,
it's crazy,
outrageous.
I had a guy direct message me on some sort of social channel. I can't even remember which one, but was really pissed off about the scores, and it's like that we're making it up, and you guys aren't as good as you say you are, and all of this stuff. And he goes, you said Detroit would win huge, and then you called it Detroit winning by 3. They won by 3. You got that wrong. Why would you say huge? The segment is pay attention to the score.
To the score.
All the rest of it, folks, for the new kids out there, is just nonsense.
The score is the steak. The rest is the sizzle.
That's it. Exactly. So for the newbies, Thursday nights, do the opposite.
It's just like the people that correct me every time I say, "Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?"
They don't get it.
That's amazing that
you know.
If you know, you know.
It's amazing that one falls on deaf ears. Like that's been around. That's been around for a long time.
Long time.
And yet,
well, that just dates it dates us, right? That's just a reference
And yet,
yes. I can't believe someone would be complaining about it. It's outrageous. It's all on record. Go back and listen to it.
Yeah, it's all there.
I don't understand how kids.
Yeah, but just the score is what matters, kids. Just remember the score. That's why the segment is called "Pay Attention to the Scores." That's the way that it goes. We are off today. We will continue and begin preparation for Pittsburgh tomorrow. My guess is that started the second the plane landed for the coaching staff, as the Steelers will be here on Sunday in what will be one of the most hyped regular season games in a long, long time. This late in the season to have the Steelers come in here, have matching records. A lot on the line in this one. I did see McNeil and J.W. Johnson with McNeil was hoping for a Nick Chubb breaking the guitar and starting things off on Sunday, and J.W. was quick to say we would love to try it, but can't happen.
It's not in the cards. That was something, believe me, had been bandied about, and people thought it would be, and rightfully so. Like if you could imagine the scene, all of a sudden the bat signal comes up on the scoreboard.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Out walks Nicholas Jamal Chubb. The place loses it. I saw, though, the cardiac kid said, I don't want Chubb doing it until the playoffs, and I like that. I think that would be like week one. If we have a home playoff game, he would be a pretty elite dog pound captain for that one. I'm with
absolutely.
That. I like that call by the kid.
Yeah. It's going to be a how's he doing with all the Michigan stuff?
I was going to say, how's the kid doing
right
now?
That kid? Yeah, the kid.
Yeah.
He's pretty resolute. He's pretty happy with what's going on. He doesn't like that Harbaugh won't be there for the Buckeye game, open for an injunction of some sort. I think there should be. I think some cooler heads need to prevail. Like he needs to be on the sideline for that game. And
I don't
everybody
think
should want
it's
it.
necessarily for sure that he won't be.
Good. He should be. And Ohio State should want. Everybody should want.
They do.
Isn't
they
the hearing on Friday morning?
Yeah, hearing on Friday morning. He had a press conference yesterday where he said that Michigan is America's team because they are a team that has been aggrieved and a team that is against all odds. And I'm like, yeah, I mean that's similar to like if you cheat on your wife and then she divorces you and you say you should feel sorry for me. That's kind of what happened there. Like you've done all of it. You did all of it, Michigan. You did all of it. You got caught red-handed. The Big Ten is not going to suspend Jim Harbaugh unless they had him lock, stock, and two smoking.
Here's where the kid's head at. This is from yesterday.
Give me the kid.
This is from Twitter. I'm waiting for an announcement from the same Big Ten clown that the investigation into sign sharing by Purdue, Ohio State, and Rutgers has started and will be ruled on this week. Isn't that the precedent? Surely that violates the sacred sportsmanship rule. No.
So he's handling it well.
That's where we're at.
He's taking it real well.
That's where we're at.
Well, one of those things is illegal and the other one isn't. So that's the difference there. But we digress. We also have an announcement. The Browns announcing this morning that owners Jimmy and Dee Haslam have donated $20 million to the University Hospital. So open the new University Hospital Haslam Sports Innovation Center, led by Dr. Voos, head team physician of the Cleveland Browns. So that's very exciting.
and he's the head of all the team physicians in the National Football League, which is a great honor he was given. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Yeah. Dr. Vuce said, quote, Dee and Jimmy Haslam are dedicated to creating impactful change within professional sports and in their communities. We're fortunate to have them as partners as we embark on an unprecedented phase of sports medicine, innovation, and development. The Haslam Center was created to revolutionize medicine for athletes and professional sports of all ages and abilities. It will propel technology forward to enhance the health and safety for patients everywhere, which is pretty cool.
And on every level.
On every level.
There you go.
By the way, remember I told the story about the guy that on every leveled me from the crowd?
Yeah.
And then after they released the final call video, which people have gotten a great kick out of, and I appreciate everybody who sent me a very nice note on Twitter, but those guys reached out to me. He's like, dude, that was me and my brother. And I was like,
they were the guys.
It's great. Yeah, they're like, yeah.
I also did enjoy the video of you in the I love all of the final closing seconds of you reacting to gameplay. And the one that the team put out yesterday was pretty good, as you're obviously you're bubbling over with excitement, but also not stepping on anything, and at the same time, like, very quick to be helpful. We got a flag. What does it mean? What is this? Like, all nonverbal. I liked it. That was a good job out of you.
Yeah, well, I tried, and I was just one of those things. I knew. I saw where the flag was thrown, and I saw Kyle Hamilton jump over, and so I was like, they threw it right at him. So I'm like, that's got to be what they were looking at there. But those are tense moments because you don't know until you get somebody who says something to a player, and then all of a sudden Bitonio's like arms up, celebrating, and I saw that, and I'm like, let's go. Gibbe's getting on me every time when I get the arms up that my hoodies are coming up, exposing the abs. That's why I'm in the gym every day, Gibbe. That's why I'm in the gym.
Why does he care if your abs are exposed to the radio?
He was besmirching me on a group text with luminaries.
Oh, my gosh. With luminaries even.
Yeah. I had a good retort, though. Not for air. Well, but it was a good comeback.
Not for air. Yeah. No, it's been...
Here he comes.
I just said, how about a longer shirt? How about a little something?
I got a lot of height. A lot of height. So when you're up here, when you're reaching for the stars, when you're happy because you're on, cloud nine with the Browns, that's what happens. There's a lot of bulk up here in the shoulders, pulling
things up.
The heavens.
Just a little longer shirt. That's all I was asking.
I like it tight. I like a schmedium.
Really?
You like it fitting well?
Yeah.
All right, so we are broadcasting live out at the B-Dubs out at Avon Lake. Z and Gibby there. Dave Zastadal will be there as well. They got some specials. What do they got going out there? There's usually something on a Tuesday.
What a big B. Hold the sign up. Yes, Buffalo Wild Wings. It's the best place to catch all the football action. With over 20 locations in Northeast Ohio, you can have your favorite wings, your favorite beer, all while watching your favorite teams. Find your closest B-Dubs at BuffaloWildWings.com. In terms of specials, well, guess what? You've been getting a sack party every single week from the Browns because you get sacks for apps. If the Browns get 2 or more sacks in a game, did it last week, you win a free appetizer at any participating Buffalo Wild Wings with a $20 food purchase. And don't forget about happy hour at B-Dubs. Enjoy a great selection of food and drink specials ranging from $3 to $6 Monday to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. And later on, I'm going to tell you about the perfect holiday gifts, the party menu. Oh, baby, they're cooking with gas here at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, let's go. Those, by the way, are the hot topics of the day presented by Vivid Seats. Head to Vivid Seats to purchase your brand new premium terrace experience. Your ticket comes with a pregame field pass, parking, all-inclusive food and beverage, and a $50 Brown Shop gift card. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, a little bit of national love for our guys. We are off and running. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. For my team at Renew Home Exteriors, now introducing new Ascend composite clad siding featuring beautiful deep green look, 20 available colors there. Keep that just installed look for a lifetime with this low maintenance siding. Plus, with Renew's price match guarantee, you can be assured you're going to receive the best price for your exterior project even after you purchase it. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products and superior service. Visit RenewEstimate.com for more on that. As we're broadcasting live out of Buffalo Wild Wings, Avon Lake, Dave Zastadil out there as well. The fellas, Gibbe, Z, you guys are going to be travel buddies here for a big stretch out in Southern California coming up soon.
That's right.
Little palling around. You guys have had a lot of time together.
He's going to have so much. He's got luminaries all over that city. He is going to thrive for a week. He might not be pleased about it, but he's.
You think deep down it's a front?
Yeah.
No.
He's going to be playing golf.
Listen, if we're able, and there's been talk potentially that we can throw our sticks in on a truck.
Yeah.
If that's able to happen, that changes the whole thing because that will allow not only for them to be there, which would be a real treat, but it also would allow for me to stuff that bag with the clothes that I will need for 9 days, given our limitations on what we can bring.
They were like, an overnight bag. I'm like, we're going for 9 days in 2 climates.
What?
How about a little something?
So
for
we're
the
hoping to get on that. We're hoping to get on that truck.
Gibby drops in 9 days, 2 climates.
Yeah. Well, he's
accurate.
Right. He's right.
Denver and Southern California.
That truck change that could be a shift the paradigm, as it were. That could be a game changer. So that's
either way, your clubs are getting out there. Whether you ship them or you
ship sticks, I don't think I'd be able to stuff it the way that on a truck. I would be able to really fill that travel bag with a lot of stuff.
That's required.
Like 5 days worth of outfits in there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do laundry.
Where?
No.
The Beverly Wilshire.
The Reach Bev will?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll just take out a second mortgage for that.
Yeah.
That's right.
It'll be great.
It's going to be crazy. That's a wild trip. That's a long stretch.
Our show out there is 10 to noon.
Oh, it's gorgeous. You're going to love it.
That becomes a big problem with this.
Don't
later
think
on
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, of course.
You can have anything. I'll do whatever you want between the hours of 9 and 10.
You can do it. You don't even need 9. You're going to be on East Coast time. You can do 6 a.m. to noon. Fine. What do you care?
Whatever you want. Yeah, I'll do anything
easy.
you want.
Noon o'clock. You cut.
Listen, we know there. Listen, here's the truth. There won't be practice Monday or Tuesday.
True.
So
we will have some downtime on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday. We have obligations.
I want Gibby
I'm not
at
working.
Rivy.
I'm here to work.
Gibby at Rivy. That's what I want.
I feel like it'd be good. I just want to run in. There are 2 people that I really want to run into in L.A.
One you can say on the radio, the other can't.
One is Larry David,
and the other.
Well, the other we just don't want to cause we don't want to cause any hysteria or have other people try to meet the same person.
I think that's probably a very specific fan base, and you're the president of it.
Perhaps, but that's okay.
Yeah. That's right.
No. I feel like that's a feather in my cap. I feel like that's
there's
a
lot
feather
to
in my
like.
cap.
I just think
positions me well. We're down again. We lost.
Well said. Yeah, well said. Do we have the audio of these various cuts? Is that what we're playing here now?
Is going to be the end of me this year.
Yes.
All right.
Let's start the audio again here. Let's start
with McAfee on the Browns. This is from the Pat McAfee show yesterday. Here's McAfee on the Browns' big win over the Ravens.
Don't look now. Deshaun Watson might be
all the way.
Deshaun Watson might be Deshaun Watson again. Now, there's a whole conversation that has to take place around Deshaun Watson anytime you mention his name.
Sure, of course.
You guys can have that. We're all thinking the same thing. Went through a lot, put himself through a lot. Very serious allegations took place. A very serious settlement. A lot of time away from football. But every time he got on the field since then, it seemed like he was inching closer back to the old Deshaun Watson. It was kind of exciting. Then he had this injury, fluke injury out of nowhere. He's off the field for a while. He's saying he's not healthy. They're saying he's healthy. Is this going to put a damper on everything? Deshaun Watson's back. Second half yesterday, won 14 for 14 or something like that. Rushed for a bunch of yards. And the end of the game was phenomenal. Here's Deshaun Watson in the fourth quarter. 2 minutes left. 2nd and 19. Straight to Cooper. Okay. That's a big-time ball. Those two are supposed to be the connection for the future for this particular Cleveland Browns team. 31-30. Remember, it's not a tie game because Dustin Hopkins missed a 33-yard extra point earlier in the fourth quarter. Deshaun Watson breaking tackles, spinning, running, doing his. This is old Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
He didn't look as fast as old Deshaun Watson. His knee drive wasn't as much. I think he might have been tired here in the fourth quarter, but he was certainly elusive, running, held on to the ball, kept the clock moving too. Smart football from Deshaun Watson. Then he hands it off to Ford. We need one. Stumbling, fumbling, bumbling. Now where are we? Field goal range, baby, with the whole team strumming and mushing for the first down to move that. It's not only Battaglia who gets circled right there, who we absolutely love. It's the whole damn O-line getting in on the mix.
Yeah.
Let's pick him up. Njoku, too, ran right through a human earlier in this game. He's an absolute specimen. Let's go ahead and move the entire pile. Let's out physical. Then, from 40 yards, dead center, Dustin Hopkins out of Florida State says, give me that, let's win. They say, well, there's a flag. We can't let this kicker celebrate, obviously. We've got to call something. Ravens try to jump over the center. It does not matter. We keep it moving. Dustin Hopkins shows up for the Browns in a big way.
Way to go, Dusty.
Way to go, Dustin. Deshaun Watson being back is sweet.
Yeah.
The entire offensive line moving. Jerome Ford for that first down. Awesome. Dustin Hopkins hitting a game winner for the Browns. Spectacular, D-Bud.
Absolutely. And you talk about Deshaun Watson, the way he started off this game, Kyle Hamilton tapped up, pick six. Started off terrible. I think one of 9 to start off, and then to come back in the second half and finish 14-14, made some plays with his legs. This is what the Browns need. This is obviously what the Browns invested in the quarterback position. With that defense, I mean, they can win any given Sunday with that combination of offense and defense.
And the AFC North, don't look now, pretty wide open. Pretty wide open.
All right, good stuff from Pat and the fellas there. As he was talking about, he mentioned Coop in there, and that was obviously mostly about Deshaun being back. Is Amari Cooper the best, least talked about player in the league? Or on a short list?
On certainly a short list of just a consummate, reliable professional. Yeah. He's on pace for a better season than he had last year.
That's
with the
right.
Cleveland Browns. And he's going to be well, I think he's in the 1,300 yard range. He has been everything that you've needed, and when we need a big play, it goes to Amari Cooper, and especially, late in these games. And Watson's been very good in the fourth quarter. Amari's been a big part of that, Chief. But I do think he's on that list. I was trying to think of like an NBA player analogy of who he is, somebody that's just great every year, but isn't talked about being the best in their position, but is just maybe like a Mitch Richmond was for the people of our age. Like Mitch Richmond was awesome every single year, but was because of Jordan was never talked about as being the best. But Mitch Richmond, he could ball.
He really
Run
could.
TMC, baby.
Yeah. I think that's it. I mean, that's kind of the thing. Like you can just rely. We did
Joe Dumars.
There you go. We did the Miles MVP of this league or of this team, and we both, without skipping a beat, said Coop. That's the guy. He can be counted on week in and week out. He catches everything thrown his way. Consummate professional, great locker room guy, like everything that you would want a number one to be. He's all of those things. So he's been absolutely sensational. The Chief has been sensational as well, and this is a big game. A tough drop early for him, and then righted all of it in a very, very big way. And this is from Good Morning Football this morning. Here's Kyle Brandt on the Chief.
Cleveland had 50 nominations this week, but this is my favorite one. Njoku with the ball and the go. He's still going. He's pushing the sled. He's pushing a truck. You can't stop that man. That is the strongest dude in the league. You can't stop him with tacklers. You can't stop him with fire. Njoku will keep on going. Geno Stone has 25 pick sixes, and he couldn't stop him here. Tell you what, give me a freeze right here. All right, guys, let's mark this. Let's just mark this for bleeps and giggles. It's the 42. Let's call it the 43. Roll it. These two guys completely out of it from the 43. Let's roll this thing. Go down to the 40, to the 35, to the 30. That's the 29. Peter, what's 43 minus 29? Quickly. 14. Are you kidding me? Peter said 13. That is 14 yards of anger. And Njoku with the win on the road. I love him. They call him the Chief. I absolutely love this. Keep on pushing. I thought he was going to drive him all the way to the end zone. I thought he was driving him all the way there. He might be driving him all the way to Scepterville. Let's go to the table. Out of my way or I'll drive you. Let's go, guys.
That's unbelievable. And then he won it. He wins angry runs.
Okay, couple of things. One, says you can't even stop him with fire.
That was
outstanding. Amazing. Two,
quickly, Slade.
Not a single person because there were multiple voices. I heard a 15, and I heard Schrager say 13. Not one of them got 43 minus 29 as being 14, which is stunning. That is, I mean, I almost feel like that. You should have to take a day off of work. Like, you are not welcome back until we can get 43 minus 29 being 14.
I think.
Like, how can we take your take seriously? How can we take your take seriously? I mean,
that's great.
That's outrageous.
That's performance art. I love that he's done that. That he's got that angry run.
It is fun. Well, in the post-game recap, my Clutch Transportation post-game recap.
Sure.
I called for it. I said, Kyle Brandt. I talked about that plan. I said, Kyle Brandt, here's your angry run of the week, and then sure enough, it came to fruition.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, very, very good. So now my good friends at Homage are going to have shirts made. Those will go up, I think, tomorrow. You'll be able to buy the Chief Angry Runs, and he'll get the scepter, which is pretty cool.
He'll get the scepter.
Yeah. And Kyle's a man, he's 40, he's like our age, and his whole thing, his whole life basically centers around action movies of the 80s.
That's
so
right.
I love that that's kind of the persona that he leans into bigly here.
Oh, it's great. And I don't know, did you see Simmons' tweet to him today?
No, I missed
tweet
it.
is literal. This is for an audience of one, and that audience is Kyle Brandt. He said that Sean McDermott has reached the stage of John Lithgow's character in Cliffhanger when he starts turning on his own people and blaming them for everything that's going on, which I thought was pretty funny.
That's an era where
that's a great movie, by the way.
It is, but that all of that stuff is based. It's basically all just Die Hard. It's just here's Die Hard on a cliff, Die Hard on a plane, Die Hard on this. That's all of it was, and the fact that was Die Hard on a cliff is amazing.
Amazing, incredible.
Like Lithgow is the Richmond character. It's the Hans. I mean, the Rickman character.
Hans
like
Gruber, right? Yeah.
It's great.
So I last night was having a dinner with some friends, and Andrew, a fine man, took umbrage with the fact that you and I love Rocky IV so much, and was making an impassioned case last night that Rocky III is actually the best of the Rocky films. It's got Thunderlips, you got Clubber Lang. I pushed back a little bit, but go ahead. Yes, Bo?
I just want to know his age.
A little bit older than us.
That's it. That's why.
That's what I said, too. I said,
it's age.
You're talking
age
about
bias.
as a young person, we come into it. Now, it does make me want to watch them both in a relatively short
Three's
fashion
good.
and see which one. Three's great. Thunderlips.
One, I think one is brutal.
One's
a
not
rewatch.
great.
It takes forever to get going. Two's basically just a redo of one. Three's really good.
3 is really good, and 3 has Eye of the Tiger, which he pointed out.
They do that in 4 though too. 4 has Eye of the Tiger too.
They bring it back.
Yeah,
but
he's missing the geopolitical impact.
Of course, 4 when you're a kid in America, it's us against USSR. Ivan Drago was perfection.
Perfect.
He killed Apollo Creed.
He's
got Brigitte Nielsen. Peak of her powers. They're both at the peak of their powers. He's doing the force punching where it's like his force is more than it. I mean, you got we're running around in the Siberian mountains. I mean, all of it. You had I Will Break You. It was for the time. It was the perfect story of good versus evil that fit the world that we were living in, and it was perfect. It was perfect.
He ended the Cold War.
He ended the Cold War.
Just that's it. There's nothing else. Like Mr. T's scary, but that's the end of it. He ended the Cold War. What do you want?
He was just pitying fools. We're ending the Cold War, the threat of a nuclear holocaust. We're ending it.
Last summer on the way out to Montana, I downloaded 4 for NBC, and he watched it kind of the whole way from. We flew into Missoula, so from Chicago to Missoula, and at the end of it, he just looked up and he goes, "Dad, that was awesome." And I'm like, "Yes." You're damn right it is. And he doesn't even have the geopolitical stuff that we had. Like the Soviet Union was.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we were hiding under desks, remember?
They were the big bad, of course.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Red Dawn, all of it. We were always dealing with the Russians.
Like, isn't Drago, for his time and his role, I think that's one of the great movie antagonists of all time.
I don't have a problem with it. No, I think it's I think it's right there.
To me, Drago and my pushback was, and it does make me want to watch 3 and give like an
3's
unbiased
good.
version. I know 3 is very good, but Drago is better than Thunderlips and Clubber Lang combined.
He killed
Apollo Creed.
Apollo
Creed cease to exist on the planet.
In front of James Brown.
Can't come back in front of Living in America.
Great song.
Fantastic
song.
The pageantry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's just age.
It
Ageism
up.
a little bit.
Holds up.
Yeah. Be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join Next Gen STM, presented by Ticketmaster, official waitlist of the Cleveland Browns. Being a Next Gen STM is the best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/NextGenSTM to reserve your spot today. After further review coming up next, you'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey, Browns fans, you can enter for a chance to win season tickets for the 2024 season from Sugardale and your local Meijer. Head to browns.com/contest to enter now, and don't forget to grab Sugardale bacon on your next trip to Meijer. Time for a little segment we like to call After Further Review, and for that, of course, we need Dr. Z.
I'm going to let Gibby do it. I'm having too much of a good time here with the great people at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Avon Lake. It feels like it. There's something going on there.
A lot of fans.
All we're missing is Ashby telling me to donate half of my salary to Segura.
So
we can give him a raise.
So the greatest ones.
It's a cherry out top.
We come outside, Ashby sees us. He goes, "Man, you do." He's like, "What do you do?" I said, "I got to do something." And other, he goes, "Man, you do everything." He goes, "You need a raise." He's like, "Even if it comes from his salary, you need a raise." Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I said, Ashby, you got to be kidding me.
It was unbelievable. It was Yeah, Gibbe, unreal.
He's going to
Take it from
Gibbe.
Gib.
Why you got to put his hand in your pocket, Gibbe?
That's exactly what I said. I said, Ashby, you keep your hands out of my pocket.
I said Ashby, game recognized game. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what's got to be. I don't want to take from Gibbe, though. This is
no.
We're not trying to be Robin Hood, you know?
I don't know what you're trying to be.
That's the last thing that we need.
That's the last thing we need. All right, after further review, do we have the new sounder?
I think we have a new sounder. Compliments of Climax. JK, you got
After
it?
further review.
There it is.
There it is. After further review. All right. We're gonna mix in some things that we really, really liked, and then we're gonna mix in some things that we need to improve and clean up on going forward. First of all, after further review, something that I liked: Deshaun Watson's strength and little movement in the pocket. And that's a very subtle thing, that efficient movement in the pocket. And what you have there from Deshaun Watson is the ability then to shrug off people who are trying to sack him. And this is something going back to his days at Clemson, that people, you talk to guys who played against him or liked him at Clemson, they say he was the guy who could extend every single play. He was the one who in the pocket could shrug off a hit, still deliver the football, get outside the pocket, make plays with his legs. And I thought Deshaun Watson showed in that game that full functional strength was back and his ability to extend those plays, and I thought that was huge. Number 2.
After further review.
We've talked about him. He won the angry runs already. David Njoku, his ability after the catch right now, he's averaging nearly 9 yards of yak per reception. That's number 1 in the NFL. Tight ends, receivers, you name it.
Jeez.
Anybody who is a primary pass catcher, it is David Njoku who is leading in terms of what he has been able to do after the ball. I love it, and I love that he bounced back from the drop earlier in the game, because on that play, when Watson broke out, actually had Elijah Moore wide open in the end zone, throws it to Chief, who was wide open right in front of his eye line, but he dropped it, but then he came back and he made the plays, and I thought that was really something that was excellent to see. All right, I lied. I'm going to do all positive. Number 3.
After further review.
Deshaun Watson in the first half goes 6 for 20, and obviously those numbers don't look good. There were multiple plays where he had easy kind of throws, whether it was to the middle, to a back out of the backfield, or even into the flats, that he did not take in the first half. And so sometimes he would hold the ball and then end up making a more difficult throw or not being able to make a throw at all. In the second half, I thought he was so decisive with the ball and let the layups be layups. And then when he needed to make big plays, like the 2nd and 19 on the final drive, he was able to do that in the pocket as well. But I thought it was really his ability in that second half to see the game so quickly, to see it so quickly and deliver the football accurately. And some of those things, it's such a little thing that you'd only see on the after further review, is you throw a stick route. He was throwing the ball and almost kind of subtly leading the people to be catching it upfield away from danger, and that was contributing to especially Chiefs' ability to get yak. There was that 3rd down where Amari ran that little jerk route inside, and he put it perfectly outside, so he was able to get out there and turn it upfield. So I'll give another after further review on that. That was an elite job and elite stuff there. Number 4.
After further review.
Kudos to this offensive line. Kudos to Jaron Christian. Kudos to James Hudson. Christian had one mess up, and it did come at a key time, and we can't do that against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But overall, played very, very well in a very difficult situation against the team that came into this game leading the NFL in sacks. They still got to the quarterback at times, but this offensive line played well enough, not only in the pass game, but in the run game. And one of our most effective runs in this game were the tosses. Out of shotgun, where we ran tosses. We basically ran outside zone, but the front side tackle would loop out as everybody else came down horizontally. And that's something that James Hudson does very, very well. And we were able to get big runs with him. And then Jaron Christian going the other way with Jerome Ford. We had the big run to the right with Kareem Hunt. So kudos to that offensive line. I think there's optimism that DeJuan Jones has a chance to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And boy, would you like him to be back out there. But if not, these guys at least showed you that, yes, we can still function at a high level as an offense with them on the field. All right, now we go to the defensive side, yeah? Sure, why not?
After further review.
I think you should say next. That way he knows. Because if you just stop randomly talking.
Well, I thought maybe Bo was after 4 going to say now on the defense.
Well, I think here's what we need to do. Let's do this. Let's produce live on the air. This is what I'll do from now on. I will tee you up with number 1, and then you go next.
Yeah,
then we
I felt like I was doing.
You're lifting a lot of weights right now.
Until we get some the salary this way, let's spread the division of labor.
Doing too many jobs. Let's.
Right.
So, all right, on to the defense, Dr. Z. What do you have for number 1?
Go sit out in the car. You guys tell me when the clock rolls around.
You got to be here in case the speaker goes out again.
Nope, not anymore.
He's out. What do you have for number 1? Defense.
A subtle change in the defense was made over the second half of this game, and that was originally they had Mike Ford outside. They kept Greg Newsome inside, and that caused Mike Ford at times to be locked up one-on-one with Odell Beckham, for example, and Odell Beckham was able to get that inside release, get the 40-yard touchdown. They made the adjustment to keep Greg outside and move Mike Ford inside into the slot, and Greg Newsome turned in a phenomenal game. He was only targeted twice in coverage in this game. He only allowed 1 catch, a rating of 27 when targeted, and I thought that little subtle move took away a lot of what they were trying to do because, number 1, it kept Greg fresh. They were doing so much back-and-forth motion where he was running around, and then it put him in position on the outside where they really were looking to throw the football. They weren't throwing the ball to Nelson Aguilar out of the slot. They were throwing it to Zay Flowers on the outside. They were throwing it to Odell on the outside, and then in the middle of the field, you had to deal with Mark Andrews. But I thought that was a great subtle move and then great play from Greg Newsome to get that first sack.
Next.
After further review.
Number 2?
First interception for Greg Newsome. Number two is Zadarius Smith. And I know he's got, I think, 2.5 sacks now on the season, got a half in this one. He is impacting the game in a way in which we have not had another defensive end since Myles Garrett has been here. Yeah. And we've had some great performance from Olivier Vernon. We had 2 years ago from Clowney, ended up with 9 sacks. But you were talking about Zadarius Smith week in and week out, leading this team or tied for the lead with Myles in pressures. He's top 10 in the entire National Football League in pressure rate. And then he plays the run so well. He can set the edge, and he also has the quickness to get down the line when he's unblocked and they're running away from him and make plays, taking away cutback lanes. And his sequence, the play where on second down, on the final possession of the Ravens where he trips Lamar Jackson in the hole on the design quarterback run, that was a game-saving play. And then on third down, he's the one who follows him all the way to the sideline and trips him up. Now, he wasn't going to get the first down anyway. We had it well scouted, but get a guy on the ground and go ahead and we get the football back. So that was awesome. So Zadarius Smith, that's number 2. Great game.
Next.
After further review.
Number 3, Dr. Z.
Can we get my guy Grant Delpit locked up here with the Cleveland Browns? Another tremendous performance by Grant Delpit in this one. He gets a half a sack on the one he split with Zadarius. He has 4 run stops. Those are plays at the line of scrimmage. Grant Delpit, and when now he's in the box a lot alongside Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, those two can blitz on any play. They can cover anybody on any play. They can play the run well. They are both making a ton of plays. Delpit's your leading tackler. JOK leads your team in tackles for loss. JOK leads the league in tackles for 0 or negative yards. Those two in tandem, and we got JOK on his rookie deal still, so that's why I'm talking about Grant Delpit. But those two in tandem are playing very, very good football, and I love what I've seen from Grant Delpit.
Didn't Delpit get hurt early in the game? Didn't I recall? He had to come out.
He came out for a few and then came back in and played well. There's only one play where he gave up a big one to Mark Andrews, and he fell down in coverage on that one about 5 yards into that route, and Andrews ended up wide open.
Next.
After further review.
Number 4, Dr. Z.
This is going to be a combo because we got to get a little defense, a little special teams. By the way, how about Mike Ford stepping into this moment, into this role, and getting the opportunity to make his first career interception? We featured 2 first career interceptions, his and Mike Ford. Yeah. Gibbe's teasing me right now. He's got Nick Chubb just posted a picture. Is that holding a Batman mask? The Batman mask in the hand of a mysterious figure. Oh, baby.
Oh, boy.
Let's go. I wonder if that means maybe he got part 2 done, and now we're
on the ascent.
Now we're on the way back. Now we're on the real comeback trail begins. That'll be interesting to see if we get an announcement about that. That's how I read it right now. All right. The other part I said mentioning as half defense, half special teams. How about Jordan Elliott? How about the fact that it's Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and this is the first time we've talked about the blocked field goal. And by the way, that blocked field goal comes after, if you remember, the 12-man on the field gives them a new set of downs. We sack them back. They attempt the 55-yarder. Justin Tucker, by the way, 1 for 5 on 50-yard field goal attempts in the year 2023. And then Elliott just wrecks the guard, gets in there, gets the pop. We end up getting the ball in good position, getting 3 points out of it. So that was a huge, huge play by Jordan Elliott, who's made big plays in basically 4 games in a row. And by the way, Browns legend Dave Zastudil has entered the Buffalo Wild Wings at Avon Lake right now. And he'll be signing autographs here from 2 to 3. So check him out. That's right, the crowd. Let him hear you. Let him hear you. Show some appreciation.
He's out of his vehicle.
That's right. Take the helmet off. There he is, the great Dave Zastudil. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Oh, I'll lean back. Oh, look at that. All right. If you're looking for the perfect holiday gift for your sports-loving friend or family member, Buffalo Wild Wings gift cards, they're the answer. Grab yours today at any Buffalo Wild Wings. And listen to this. With a $25 purchase, you get a $5 bonus card just for you.
Oh, mama.
Help me help you. Help me.
You just did.
Help you
just did. With
That's
after
right.
further
You
review.
got it.
And you can
There
join
it is.
Z and Gerard Thursday night, 7 to 8, Kevin Stefanski live, Grayton Road Tavern in Cleveland. The guys get you ready for the Browns and the Steelers with a visit from one of the victorious players. One thought coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Supplies Plus giving you a chance to win tickets to home games all season long while providing the best deals for you and your pet at over 75 stores throughout Ohio. Enter to win at clevelandbrowns.com/Pet Supplies Plus or receive a coupon to use at your local store with your entry. Pet Supplies Plus, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. The fella is live out at Buffalo Wild Wings in Avon Lake. Dave Zassadell out there as well.
Oh, yeah. Signing some autographs, meeting the people. Just got this text from Anthony Poisal. Heard the shout-out on CBD this afternoon. Will admit to you, I was wrong on Wilson. He's bounced back and not getting enough credit this year for the year he's had at this point. Glad you guys love the hair. Miss you guys. AP, legend.
If you would have admitted that 6 months ago, you'd be a vice president in the organization.
It's probably true.
I mean, that's what stopped it.
That's it. That was it. Yes.
All right, very good. We've got
last
time
week
for.
It was Tyvus making amends.
Yeah,
a lot of mea culpas.
Wow, you're on a little heater right now.
I think the lesson here is we're always right.
That is the lesson. Yeah,
so
that's right.
As long as you are comfortable in that world, then we're all going to get along fine, and you won't have to apologize
for all of us.
Yeah, you're not going to have to apologize down the road. Like it saves a lot of time.
That's okay. I do enjoy it. It's fun. I do like the other way as well.
No, I'm doing this I have no issue with either way. I'm saying it'd be better for you out there, the collective you, if you just acknowledged it right away.
For sure.
And then it would save you the heartache.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
time for one thought.
Either way. We're thriving either way.
Winning either way.
The co-mayors of Wrightville.
That's exactly right.
Correct town.
There's a small town in South Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia.
Of course, familiar with it. Quite familiar with it.
The nickname is Wintersville, USA, which I think is great.
How far is that from Cordell, Georgia, which is like the watermelon capital of the world?
It's all off 75 there, I think.
It's all off 75, yeah. It's on that ride down. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Wintersville, USA, predicated on their high school football team being the winningest in the history of the country.
And then you get a Goober capital of the world is also on that stretch of road.
True.
With the birthplace of Jimmy Carter.
The one thing about it is
the peanuts.
The end of that destination would being Miami, and then kind of a stopping point in that destination being Atlanta, and then everything else in between is very different than those two locations.
Well, from the time you leave Atlanta to the time you hit the Florida border is
a different world.
At least
brother.
Certainly when I was in college, it was a bygone era. Very different world.
Very different world, yeah.
But then you can get into Tampa. Tampa's great. Tampa used to be on that stop for us. Yeah.
Woo. Love Tampa.
I bet you do.
I do.
I bet you do.
All I can do is Janowski.
Right again. Right again.
That's right, of course.
What I don't love?
Jacksonville. Eastbound and down. All you can do is eastbound and down on that. That's right. Stevie's so excited to go to Tampa. He can't wait. And then Kenny has to break the news he's not going with him.
Oh, man, sad. My buddy Manto just rewatched and finished Eastbound and Down. He goes, this show was really a masterpiece.
Yes. Correct.
All right.
Not watching it undid our last intern.
That's true.
That was the start of his downfall.
It was.
One thought from Week 10 in the National Football League.
We got a lot of thoughts.
Away we go. It used to be a time when the Colts and the Patriots, it was worth watching in the National Football League.
The game of the
week
of the year.
Not so much. In Frankfurt, Germany, we hand you a really great game in the first week, and in the second week, you get dog poop. Colts 10, Patriots 6. Bo Bishop, one thought from you.
It's just amazing how Belichick has drafted himself in this position of a roster without – it's just void of talent, especially offensively. Like, there's just nothing there. It's amazing that he thought, as smart as he is at everything else, that he thought somehow he could fix this post-Brady. Everything he's tried has failed. I mean, it's just comedy. Like, Mac Jones throws one of the worst interceptions you'll see, and then he benches him for Bailey Zappi to play 2-minute drill, who then he throws an interception. Like, he's seen both of those guys a lot. Like, why would you run all of that back? It just is nuts.
So one of the things that Bill, the GM, did, and they basically got the exact same contract, I don't know if you remember this, was Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
They basically opted to take Juju Smith-Schuster instead of keeping Jacoby Myers.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby Myers has not had great quarterback play in Vegas. They've had they've 3 different starting quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
He has missed a couple of games due to injury. And Jacoby Myers still has 42 catches, 463 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Juju Smith-Schuster has 22 catches for 149 yards. That's not even 7 yards a catch.
Jeez.
And 1 touchdown.
Not
Juju
great,
Smith-Schuster has reached 50 yards in a game 1 time this year.
So
Every
nice.
other game has been below 35 yards. He's got 4 games with fewer than 10 yards receiving. And that was the trade-off they made. Jacoby Myers. I mean, Myers has had a 100-yard game. He's scored 5 touchdowns in the first 6 games this year before he got hurt. He's been over 50 yards 5 times. I mean, bad
ball.
The Colts only scoring 10 in this one is wild to me. I thought the Colts, when you watched it, every time you felt like they were gonna go dominate them.
The Colts are 5-5.
Yes.
The Colts, the Raiders, and the Broncos all of a sudden making a little noise and making a little move in the AFC.
Pretender.
Okay, but if you're
and
going
then I
up
would say
against
the
them for a
Broncos-
play, it's postseason. I'm not talking about Super Bowl.
Broncos are the best of that trio.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yes. Up next, we come back to the great United States of America. Texans 30, Bengals 27. Zagura, one thought from you.
C.J. Stroud's in the MVP conversation. He's got to be in the MVP conversation. He's been great. And then, I mean, you talk about people that were, by their previous teams, kind of just thrown out. Devin Singletary goes 30 for 150 and a touch in this one on the ground.
Jeez.
Noah Brown goes 7 for 172 on 8 targets in this one.
After
Incredible.
150 last week, Noah Brown.
That's right. Back-to-back games over 150 yards. By the way, if he goes 150 again, Noah Brown, who was, correct me if I'm wrong, was on the Cowboys, right?
He was. He's the one. He caught the game-winning catch at Oklahoma when Ohio State won at Oklahoma. Ridiculous catch.
So didn't CeeDee Lamb just become the first guy to have 150 yards in 3 straight games? Or is it 150 and a touchdown 3 straight? But whatever he did, he's the only person who's ever done it.
Yeah.
But Noah Brown's looking at 3 straight of 150 plus. By the way, he's on his last 14 targets.
Okay.
14 targets. 13 catches, 325 yards, and a touchdown.
Jeez. That's crazy.
He's averaging over 20 yards a target the last 2 games. For the season, he's averaging 16 yards a target. That would be the most efficient season in the history of the NFL. He's leading the league at 20.9 yards per catch. C.J. Stroud, to give you a little feather in your cap, Mr. Wright. I was right.
Thank you.
Sam Howell leading the league in passing yards.
Mm-hmm.
You were right. C.J. Stroud leading the league in passing yards per game.
There you go. Both right
He's
there.
had a bye. As we said at the top of the hour.
I'm not giving you any more money.
We need a right again sounder. They're right again.
No, we're definitely not going to do that. I'm
That
not
would be
inflating your
amazing.
egos.
Right again.
That would be amazing. They're right
No.
again.
I don't.
Uno.
I think that is
Uno.
an awful
Pop
idea.
onto the Zoom. Uno.
I did like this.
You and Griff need to make a right again. You're right again.
Actually,
There, give it to you.
if Griff voiced it, then
Then
with
I
Griff's
would do it.
voice.
That one
With
right,
Griff's
yeah.
voice. Yeah.
They're right again.
They're right again.
I did like the general, Mr. McLean, great friend of the program today on Houston radio, saying, "I'm not going to allow anybody in Houston to act like they were going to pick C.J. Stroud if Bryce Young was available. They won't admit it now, but they were taking Bryce Young if Carolina would have went the other way. So I do like he was keeping them. Stay humble, boys. Stay humble."
Agree with that. I also agree that Bryce Young's best chance to have succeeded in the National Football League would have been in Houston in a dome.
Yeah.
out of the
I
elements.
mean, it's not like he's in
Novel
bad
concept.
climate in Carolina.
It's not bad, but the ball just goes better and more pure in a dome.
Sure.
C.J. Stroud's the real deal. He does it anywhere. C.J.
It
Stroud
doesn't
should have
matter.
been the
He was
first
in
pick.
Cincinnati.
Yes. Houston benefited from the struggles of Dwayne Haskins and Justin Fields. If he
Yeah.
had gone, if
But that's
everything on
nonsense.
C.J.
Like-
Stroud was the same and he played at a different school, he would have been the number 1 pick. If he played at Georgia or Alabama, he would have been the number 1 pick.
But that type of stuff drives me nuts because the notion that like all Alabama quarterbacks are bad because Mac Jones is bad, like that's
of course
just nonsense.
But it's a recency bias. The last two highly touted guys that come out of there, it didn't.
Right. Yeah.
Work.
But the thing you have to remember, like C.J. Stroud was like he was an all-state, like he could have played college basketball. Like he's an elite athlete. Like he was more like another guy who played at Ohio State, Joe Burrow, than he was like either one of those two guys.
For sure. But there was definitely a belief. I mean, you certainly thought coming out.
The one I thought would be the best was Fields.
Really good.
I thought Fields would be the best. Fields was the one that I thought would be the best of those three coming out. I think he was undone by Chicago. I'm still not in any way believe that he couldn't be what Jalen Hurts is. He checks all of the same boxes. But he was undone by the Bears situation. Circumstance matter.
Yep. Up next, since it's taken us 17 minutes to only go through 2 games.
Well, to be fair, 11.
We're going to need to.
We're having a great time.
We are. I know. My goal is to keep us on clock somewhat.
Sort of. Yeah.
The 49ers are back. Kyle Shanahan's off the hot seat. 49ers 34, Jaguars 3. Bishop, one thought from you.
You could have just stopped this thing with the 49ers are back. They got healthy. They got a bye week. By the way, Chase Young with opposite Nick Bosa, really good. And it did warm the heart to see him on the bench saying it's just like college. We'll meet at the quarterback. They're going to be a problem to block.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we played them earlier in the season and got that out of the way. 49ers are back. Chase Young's actually pretty good.
So no kidding.
Yeah, Dad, he is good. Well, they said he was a bad guy in Washington. So now he's back with Bosa. He's going to be just fine. A lot of focus here on the Niners, and rightfully so. Brock Purdy was sensational in this one, 19-26, 296 and 3. On the flip side, a complete disappearing act by the Jacksonville Jaguars. This was, and look,
Lawrence threw a bad pick too, a really bad pick.
Sometimes lost, and he did. He did against the Steelers.
Yeah,
he did that against the Steelers as well. Didn't they end up losing that game, the Steelers, or did they win that? No, Trubisky came in and they ended up winning it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Up next, guys, the Vikings 27, Saints 19. Josh Dobbs effect. Nathan Zagura, one thought.
Listen, we both had this one the whole way. Dobbs is fun. Dobbs now, here you go. Kareem Hunt's now scored a rushing touchdown in 5 straight games. That's the longest active streak in the league. The second longest active streak in the league for Gus Edwards. For Josh Dobbs.
It's amazing.
And that spans 2 of those games with each of the Arizona Cardinals and the Vikings. 2 with each of the 2 games. Unbelievable what he's done to come in and perform at the level that he has. I love it. And supposedly they're getting Justin Jefferson back this week. Don't look now. The Vikings are 6-4. And it feels pretty likely that Josh Dobbs can lead this team and be a playoff quarterback for them, which is wild.
They just have to be 500 the rest of the way, and they're going to get in.
Yeah, couldn't be more happy for Dobbs. He's one of the best guys that you'll ever meet. My favorite play from this game, though, is from New Orleans, where Jameis Winston threw the most inadvisable touchdown pass that somehow, some way, Chris Olave caught all the way. Have you seen this?
I saw the highlight, and I wanted to make one bonus point on this one. But, yes, keep going. It's along the lines of what you're saying.
He's to the left of the hash at like the 11 or 12-yard line, and throws it back to the other side of the end zone across all of the traffic, and somehow it's a touchdown. It's either a touchdown or a pick six. There's one of 2 things that can happen. He got the touchdown, but it was such a quintessential Jameis play.
All right, Chris Olave he's had enough of Derek Carr.
He's done with that.
In this game, he had like 1 catch for 6 yards or something absurd with Carr. And Jameis comes in and gives you the full Jameis experience. But what he did was get the football to Chris Olave, 6 for 94 and a touchdown. That's his best game in eons. But how about Jameis' stat line? 13-25, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, perfect. He's more fun, though.
He's
Play
more
him.
fun.
He's more. He should be playing in the league. There's like how did the New York Giants not make a move for him? They're trotting out Tom DeVito. The Jets, like at least he'd get Garrett Wilson would be a game changer again. I mean, Garrett Wilson has not had a good year.
No.
He's kind of non-existent.
Up next, guys, the Squealers, 23.
Stop it.
Cheeseheads, 19. They find a way. Bishop, one thought from you. It is gross.
This ends Sunday. I'm tired of it. Them gaining less yards than the opposition and winning. It happens every week. Somehow they win. I'm just done with it. It's enough. put this to bed Sunday.
How do they get to throw a backwards pass that's picked up by the Green Bay Packers, walked into the end zone for a touchdown? Gibbe, unbelievable. Turning my mic down mid talk.
What's he doing?
It's unbelievable.
What's he doing
I don't
out
know.
there?
This is the smartest person in the building's over trying to help you right now, Gibbe. Take a listen to what she has to say. You can guess who that was. But,
I think I know. Yeah.
I don't even know what they throw a backwards pass. It's picked up by the Packers, taken in the end zone for a touchdown. It's reviewed. The ball clearly goes backwards a yard.
Yeah.
And then they say, yeah, no. I mean, you could even trace out his hand is on, if it was maybe the 14-yard line, and then the ball hits the guy's hand on like the 12.5. I mean, it wasn't even close. It clearly goes away from the line of scrimmage, and they're like, yeah, no, you're good.
Yep.
They got the voodoo, and apparently it extends to controlling the outcomes of replays.
Up next, Tampa Bay recovering nicely. They take down the Titans 20-6. Zagura.
We like Will Levis, but there's just not a whole lot of talent for Will Levis to work with. And I think my big takeaway is you've got Will Levis who can throw the football. You've got to get that guy some playmakers. On the other side, very efficient game for Baker. And they dominated, what was an inferior opponent, quite frankly. Will Levis, 19 of 39 in this one. Henry, 11 carries, 24 yards. Derrick Henry you wonder if he's...
Yeah.
It's finally happened where he is past the point of being what he was.
Yeah. I mean, the Bucs have now won 3 out of 4. They whipped the Saints and they beat the Bears, and now they beat, they won last weekend as well. So, I'm sorry, no. That was their first win. They had lost 4 in a row, and then that was their win against Tennessee. I had that inverted, if you will. But Bake was very efficient in this one. They're going to hang around. They'll be in the mix just because they're in the division, their division that they're in.
Up next,
somebody's got to win it.
Yeah, someone does.
Yeah. Somebody actually has to win that division.
Fact or fiction, someone wins that division with a losing record.
Bake is having it's the Baker. It's exactly 65%, 7 yards an attempt, 238, 14 touchdowns, 15 picks. The only thing is his pick numbers. He's keeping those low, and then that's the difference. And that's so he can at least be efficient. And they can beat teams like this,
for sure.
Speaking of gross games, Kyler Murray wins his debut in 2023. They take down the gutless Falcons 25-23. Bishop, I think.
Yeah, did you guys see the video of above, like the sky cam of Kyler? He gains like 19 yards, but he runs 90,000 yards on the play, and his head keeps scanning. It's such a cool play. He looked great, and honestly, it's helpful to them whether he plays great no matter what. They can either try to leverage him with a trade. Ideally, they don't want him winning a lot of these games. They'd rather him play great and they lose. But he looked really great coming back, and he looked like a guy who probably could have played against us. He just didn't want to play this defense.
I think they just didn't. Right.
Yeah,
there's no point in having. You don't want that to be your first game back. Yeah, Kyler is back. He looked electric. He was good. It's funny. I was talking with their offensive coordinator Drew Petzing before the game on the field and asked him about Kyler, and he was like, he think it kind of maybe had an impact on everything else that was going on because people were seeing how good this guy is. It's just a different level. Noah Dobbs was great for them, but Kyler Murray is on another level.
He sure is.
I think if they decide to keep him, they're set up so well to add talent around him that they could be a team that makes a move over there. The Seahawks are not quite what we thought they were. The Rams, it feels like, are every year closer to just completely irrelevancy. I mean, their 3 principal players are all older. All have been injured at various. Well, 2 of them have been injured at various points this year. So that's the Cardinals, I think, are in a pretty good place. And Trey McBride's really become a nice player for them, the tight end. Was a second rounder, I think, a year ago from Colorado State, if I have that right.
Up next, guys, the Lions are the second best team in the NFC right now after their win at Los Angeles, 41-38. The Lions now 7-2 on the year. Zagura, one thought from you.
See, after I said Trey McBride, Colorado State, Griff could have been like, "You're right again." Would have been great. Would have been a great moment.
No.
It would have been a great moment for everybody.
This is a bad idea more and more than I think about.
Uno, that looks like a face of disapproval. I don't know what to make of that.
I think Uno wants it.
Griff is giving me.
I don't know.
Griff was giving me classic.
I don't know what
Griff
Jacob
enthusiasm
Square
for
is
it.
going on back
Griff's
there
fired
at the farm.
Griff, yes. Look at him, loves it.
He
What
does.
game are we talking about?
I don't know. Lions. They win by 3.
Lions 7-2 on the year, 41-38.
We had it,
Brandon
despite
Staley's
the
still
hater in
employed.
the
No idea
score,
why.
the hater in the mentions.
nailed it.
We had that one. We did nail that. They won and did the C word. They covered it.
Yeah. I didn't like Dan Campbell's analogy. He said that he tells his family before their games start, because he went for it on 4th down a bunch, to put their diapers on.
That's right.
The analogy was ridiculous. Like,
It was-
why would anybody? I've been nervous a few times in my life. At no point did I find the need that an adult diaper would help.
No, I had 100% belief in Dustin Hopkins, but you never know, something weird, they block whatever.
Yeah, right, sure.
So I was nervous, but it certainly was fine in what I came to the stadium in, which did not
a weird
include
analogy.
Those very odd analogy. The Lions, Goff is good. Montgomery's back. Gibbs is good. Of
course he is.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is having a historically good season. And then the Chargers are fun. Herbert throws for 4 touchdowns. Eckler scores a touchdown. Keenan Allen 1,175-2. This was a fun
what you wanted it
NFL
to be.
game. This is what you want it to be. The Chargers are so in need of a real head coach.
Yeah.
It is. I think we will look back on this as being one of the great wastes of a pretty good collection of talent to not win anything of consequence.
Nothing.
Right? Nothing.
Oh, 0.
Like no playoff wins.
Hey, you could say that about them with Rivers, too. They got to one AFC championship game, but they had a LaDainian and Seau and Merriman and
Gates.
Like, they had studs, and they just couldn't do anything.
Was it Rodney Harrison on those teams?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys.
Our boy Wilhelm?
That's right.
Yeah. Cowboys 49, Giants 17. So the Fox A game got moved from our game to this.
Why? Again, why?
It's the worst team in football is the New York
They were
Giants.
not
They're the worst
pleased.
team in football. They're worse than Carolina.
I don't get it.
Is there anybody that people love to brag on as much as Dak Prescott, and then when he's really good, nobody acknowledges that he's really good? And maybe he hasn't done it enough, but he's playing out of his mind. CeeDee Lamb is on another level. Making Michael Irvin proud, catching the ball with his body, I guess. But whatever he's doing, it's working. So I'm pulling him up right now. I'm pretty sure it's got to be 150 and a touchdown in 3 straight games. That's the only thing that would make sense. I feel like people have had 150 in 3 straight. So CeeDee Lamb's last 3 games, no, it must just be 150 in 3 straight. He's got 158 and 2 against the Rams, 191 and no touchdowns against the Eagles, and 151 and 1 against the Giants. So that would mean that Noah Brown has a chance to do what he did.
Do it, yeah.
Now, he did have 10 catches in every game. Maybe it's 10 catches and 150 yards in 3 straight. But whatever he's done, he's the only person who's ever done it.
The score
Finally,
was
guys.
42-7 after 3.
It was gross.
The Giants are the worst team in football.
Gross.
I think I can get on board with that.
They are the worst. Yeah.
Gross.
And it's not going to get any
All
better
right,
anytime
so it's
soon.
first player to have 3 consecutive games of 10-plus catches and 150-plus yards. So Noah Brown can't do that, but he can go 150-plus in 3 straight.
Finally, guys, Seahawks 29, Commies 26. Seattle gets right. Segura?
Nobody stuffs the stat sheet like Sam Howell.
Really
His numbers are absolutely outrageous, and it hasn't really translated into anything of consequence for this football team.
It's kind of like Young Cousins. Young Cousins was that way.
It is kind of like Young Cousins. Commanders are 4-6. He's leading the league in passing. He doesn't throw picks. He's got a ton of touchdowns. They've got some good players on offense, some good skill players, but they're just not. They just don't get it done. And on the other side of it, this was Geno Smith had been under a little bit of fire, and this was kind of the first game where he answered that 31 of 47, 369, and 2 scores.
Indeed.
Yeah, for sure. Nothing more I can add. You nailed it on the Sam Howell point. Hey, Browns fans, you can enter for a chance to win season tickets for the 2024 season from Sugardale and your local Meijer. Head to browns.com/contest to enter now. And don't forget to grab Sugardale Baking on your next trip to Meijer. In addition to that, if your game plan for the season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna has that answer for you, delivering a winning strategy for breaking down the game of real estate. As the market leaders in Northeast Ohio, more buyers and sellers trust Howard Hanna for their winning home team. Visit howardhanna.com/GoBrowns today. A little higher, lower, better, or worse coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the provider of copiers and document services for the Cleveland Browns. Tackle any size office. The number there, 216-485-2000, or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com as we broadcast live out of Buffalo Wild Wings in Avon Lake. Time for a little higher or lower, presented by Keep It Fun Ohio from the Ohio Lottery, who reminds you to set time and spending limits when you gamble. Hello, Gibby.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, real well.
Look at it later. Well, then you had to talk. I thought if we were talking, then you could read.
Yeah, no, all good. This is from NFL.com. Our friend Eric Edholm with this week's Power Rankings. Should they be higher, lower, or are they just right?
We'll find out.
We will. Climax, hit it.
Higher or lower?
Number one.
Better or worse? I think we have a jingle from a international pop star.
That's right.
Maybe. Number one, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right again. They're right again.
They're right again.
They're right again.
No. Griff, don't worry. You're off the hook. We're not doing this. Number
We'll
two.
do it. It's fine. We're having a time. We're having a great time.
Number two is Kansas City. And number three, I don't know how, but the Ravens are number three.
Jeez.
Bishop, higher, lower, or just right? Right behind them, the Detroit Lions at number 4.
Like, the games have to matter, right?
I would like to think.
Or what the hell's the point of this if the games don't matter? I mean, you played them head-to-head. You did not play clean. You played far from clean. You played, honestly, quite messy. A bunch of self-inflicted wounds, gave them 14 points. You still won at their place, and you're acting like it didn't happen. And the difference in their records is a half game. We're 6-3, they're 7-3. So it's not like this was some monster thing. Well, the Browns hadn't done it. The Browns have beaten 3 teams that I think can win the Super Bowl this year. Most recently, Baltimore. So the notion that the Ravens could be 6 spots ahead of us is nonsense.
Segura.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's only one team on here that's beaten, multiple teams here in this top 5, and that would be the Cleveland Football Browns.
That's right.
Who sit at 10, and so this seems appropriate reaction to what happened. The Houston Texans go from 15th to 10. The Bengals go from 9th to 12th. Why? The Houston Texans beat the Bengals in Cincinnati. And yet in our situation, we go up merely one spot. The Ravens go down merely one spot. Quite frankly, this is too high for them. I still think they're a very, very good football team. But what the Niners did to Jacksonville, and what we have thought about the Niners all season long, and now they get a bye week, they get healthy, they get Debo back, Purdy is healthy again, and then they go and put that kind of performance on. To me, they should go straight to number 3.
Also, they got Chase Young, so their team's
also got
better.
Chase Young.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't understand us. Us at 9 makes no sense based on the. It's almost like you did. It makes you feel like that people just looked at the score and thought a bunch of fluky things had to happen and the Browns won.
What
and
about
in
their
reality?
fluky pick
A bunch
six?
of fluky things happened that we did, and we won despite
punt.
it. Yeah.
That's right.
Next.
Higher or lower?
The Detroit Lions are number 4. The 49ers are number 5. Number 6, the Miami Dolphins. Number 7, the Dallas Cowboys. Bishop, higher, lower, or just right for the Big D?
Dallas and Miami are interesting. I think Dallas. I wonder. In my head, it feels like Dallas has more quality wins than Miami does. So maybe I would have Dallas up a little bit. I want to pull. I know they're 6-3. No, they were slumped by the Niners. Lost to Philly.
The Niners
Dallas,
should be ahead of these teams.
What's that?
The Niners should be at 3. Dallas is really good at home. They've outscored opponents 107-22 in the first half at home. They've just brutalized.
Yeah, they don't really have a great win against. They don't have a. Their best win is against a quality team is probably beating the Chargers in L.A.
Yeah,
because really them and Miami are a mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
They're kind of the same team.
Segura?
Yeah, I think they're kind of fine where they are. I like our chances against both of those teams, to be honest with you. And we're going to get to play the Jags soon, so we'll get to have that head-to-head. But I think we should be higher than where we are. I think that the teams that constitute the top 5 currently are probably fine, but I think the lack of reaction to the Ravens and then the big reaction on the Bengals and the lack of reaction for us is very puzzling to me about this whole ranking setup right here. I think you could make the case because I'm guessing he's saying, well, I can't put the Lions ahead of the Ravens because they obliterated them 38-3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But okay.
But then he's not doing the same thing with our game.
No, given no credit. And I would totally agree with you. We had as many fluky things happen to us in a negative way as they did.
More.
In fact, more.
Way more. We gave them 14 points.
Gave them 14 points.
Next.
Higher or lower?
Again, this one doesn't make any sense. Jacksonville drops 4 spots to number 8. Your Browns are number 9. Where would you the Cleveland Browns, Bo Bishop, here in this power ranking?
So I think we need to prove it. I think this one's huge. I think we need to stack it this week against Pittsburgh before I'm going to crown us.
Yes.
But so I do a power ranking in the morning, and I threw Philly, Kansas City out of it because they didn't play, right? So based on just how they looked last week, I had Detroit number 1 in that power ranking. Number 2, I had San Francisco, and I had us number 3. So that's the way, based on what I saw last weekend, that's the way that I would have ranked them. So I think I'm fine with Philly and Kansas City at the top. I'd have Detroit 3 on this list. The 49ers 4. You could flip those if you wanted. I'd have us 5.
I think that this is a game.
But we need this one.
We need to, and I think we need to win it, and I think we need, if we want to be the team that we can be, this is a game, not only do we win, I think this is a game where we dole out a beating.
Yeah,
it needs to happen.
Suffocate them with our defense and put points up with our offense.
Bro.
And if Deshaun plays like he did in the second half, or really as he's done, if you take the average of what he's done against Tennessee, Arizona, and Baltimore's last 3 full games, if he just does that for 60 minutes, we should have no problems.
Don't turn the ball over.
Right.
Yeah. Don't turn the ball over.
Yep.
We win Monday night if we didn't turn the ball over.
Yep.
Next.
Higher or lower?
Houston is number 10, Seahawks 11.
Stop it.
12, the Bengals. Higher, lower, or just right? Bishop's got a problem with this one.
I mean, Cincinnati would beat Seattle right now.
Agreed.
It's a fluky game. Todd Boyd drops it.
Yeah.
Burrow puts a ball. It's a touchdown. Boyd just flat drops it. Like, there's not even any near. Just drops it. Cincinnati's better than Seattle.
Agreed. And I think if you play them against the Texans 100 times, they're winning more games than they're losing.
For sure.
Next.
Higher or lower?
Squealers are 13. The Bills are 14.
6-3.
I don't care how much the Bengals and the Bills are struggling. They both should be ahead of Seattle. They should be ahead of Pittsburgh.
I don't understand. I don't think people realize.
I probably would have them both ahead of the Texans, even though the Texans won the other day.
The people don't understand like how. I don't know. People think that this is like the old. It's sorcery, is what it is, because
it is.
They do not. They give up more yards than they gain every week, and are somehow 6-3. Like that's not possible. That's
Correct.
not sustainable.
Yep. It's nope. Yep.
It makes zero sense to me at all.
Just
Next.
bury them Sunday. Like, it's enough.
Yes.
That's what I'm
Bury
saying.
them.
That is what a quality team should do. And the Steelers' losses, 2 of them have been blowouts. Houston blew them out. The Niners blew them out.
Yeah.
Who's their third loss? The
Jags.
Jags. The Jags
And
held
they
on
dominated
close,
them.
and the Jags should have beat them by 1,000.
Correct.
They turned it over
Jacksonville
like
led that.
8 times inside the Steelers' 20.
Correct. Last one.
Higher or lower?
The bottom 4. 29, Arizona. 30, Patriots. 31, G-Men. 32, Carolina. Zagura, agree? Disagree?
With the bottom 4, no. In fact,
Arizona's way up.
Get the Arizona Cardinals out of this list. They have no business being in this list. The Bears should be in it above them. And the Rams probably should be in it above them. Tennessee should be in it above them. No, the Cardinals have no business there with Kyler Murray. None.
And I would drop,
No business.
Green Bay should be dropping down a little further on this. They should just be on the outside looking into those bottom 4.
The worst team in football is the New York Giants
By
a wide margin.
Yes.
billion.
Carolina can play competitively. The Giants, as currently constructed, cannot.
Correct.
They have the biggest point differential negative in the league. They are the worst team in the league. It's New York. That's the worst.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful football.
And they got a problem because they just gave Dan Dimes the new money.
Yep.
Like, there's no real. I mean, they could pick high, but you can't trade Dimes. He's almost going to be impossible to trade. So you could end up getting Caleb Williams or one of those guys there, but man, it's tough. That's a tough spot.
Yeah, they're awful.
Yeah, they like I said, the worst team in the National Football League. Congratulations to 2023 Brands Fan of the Year. This is Kathy Ribble. She is a retired elementary school PE teacher. We surprised her with a tour of the facility where she met Joel Bitonio, Joe Thomas. Excited to send Kathy to the Super Bowl as she represents the Browns for a chance to be named the NFL's Ultimate Fan of the Year. Head to clevelandbrowns.com/fan of the year 2024 to learn more. So much more to come. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused your injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. It has been a heck of a treat broadcasting live out of Buffalo Wild Wings. Avon Legsy, what do you got?
Yes,
what do they got in store here over the next couple of days?
Well, we talked to you about the holiday gift card. You also have the Buffalo Wild Wings party menu available to cater any of your holiday gatherings this year. Order online for pickup or delivery at BuffaloWildWings.com. And if you need space for an event, many locations have private rooms for you to host the perfect get-together. Contact your local B-Dubs for availability. And we always happy hour. You've got great selection of food and drink specials ranging from $3 to $6. That's every Monday and Friday from 3 to 6. And if the Browns get 2 sacks on that Kenny Pickett, you're going to get a chance to win a free appetizer at any participating Buffalo Wild Wings with a $20 food purchase. So that's all coming your way this week and throughout the holiday season from our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings.
And there you go. That was a treat.
Mango habanero, baby. Let's go.
Tomorrow, we turn the page.
That's right. Still pure joy, though.
Yeah, but it's all business now. We've basked in our own pure joy for long enough. It's time to go. Yeah. It's time to go. It's this is going to be an absolute powder keg all week long. There's a lot in this one. Can't wait to start diving into it tomorrow. We thank all the great folks out of Buffalo Wild Wings at Avon Lake for their hospitality. We are back tomorrow. The next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.